Dear Mitsubishi, the pharmacist just called. Apparently the meds you're on are no longer effective. Please call back urgently. Well, that explains rather a lot, doesn't it? Details next. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au. New cars cheap. Australia only website. Card. Car makers, counterintuitively enough, are often completely divorced from the products which they sell. You might think that everyone at a car maker, which is really just an office that imports a bunch of cars, here in Australia anyway, it's tempting to think that these people must all have petrol flowing in their veins, but really these places are just knee-deep in bean counters and marketing types, and they could happily be working on exactly the same thing, only with fruit and vegetables or something tomorrow. And they wouldn't see any fundamental distinction, like, hey, a product is a product, right? And this leads to some really interesting communication type phenomena from time to time, one of which is happening right now. Some highly debatable crackpot claims from Mitsubishi. They're going for gold as far as I can see, and they've just dusted off the court jester himself of Dingo Piss Creek, Russell Coight. Remember him? OAM-RIP-WGAF. He's kind of an unlikely ersatz mascot to misrepresent the true strengths of the Outlander plug-in hybrid, at least in my estimation. Today's video is sponsored by OLIGHT Sale on tonight, Monday the 21st of August from 8 p.m, winding up on Wednesday at midnight. That would be the 23rd. Now check this out. This is a very special version of one of my favourite torches, the Warrior 3S. This has a titanium body and it's finished in a finish that they would call stonewash, which means they coat it black and then they stick it in one of those vibrating tumblers with just the Goldilocks abrasive medium to give it that pre-used look, but it's also somewhat upmarket, I think you'd agree. Anyway, I really like this one because it's versatile and it's a big torch, but not too big to fit in your pocket for EDC, like everyday carry. And just for comparison, here's the Warrior Mini 2 that I've been carrying for the past couple of years, and they share a great many design features, but this is a substantial upgrade on the power output. We'll get to that. They've both got switches on the barrels and switches on the tails, which OLIGHT calls tactical switches for the back. So the theory being, if you're walking home minding your own beeswax one night and 3 zombies jump out and you need to buy a little bit of time between deploying your sword or your SIG, like you've seen those movies, then you just whip it out of your pocket and your thumb goes there and instant brightness, like 1,850 lumens, which might as well be a lightsaber. And after that, your average zombie, right, they're just seeing green and blue splotches. Now, for those times when you're not being attacked by a zombie in the field, you've got this switch on the side, which you can use for lower levels of brightness and to adjust in between them for just general working around the campsite or when you drop your keys or you got to find something that rolled under the bench here, whatever. Very practical like that as well. Now, you can reverse the pocket clip, which is good as well if you want to carry it bezel up. That's how it comes out of the factory. Bezel up, but I prefer bezel down in the pocket. It just feels better to me that way, so I always just reverse them. This thing is IPX8 waterproof as well, so you don't need to worry about drowning it. It's also drop tested, and it's got a strobe function as well as 5 different levels of brightness. On the strobe, I don't actually think the strobe is much more useful for zombie deterrence and time buying generally than 1,850 lumens of bright, but you can configure the tail switch to operate the strobe in turbo mode, like bright and then turbo. Like you get bright and then turbo. It just depends. If you want bright, it's like that, and then turbo's like that. You can reconfigure the torch using the manual to make the turbo mode on the tail switch the strobe, if that's what you really want. Personally, I think if you need a bit of long-range search in a hurry to find someone or something that's just fallen overboard or whatever, then you wouldn't want to activate the strobe every time like that. I just think turbo is more useful than the strobe. So this is well under $200 at the moment, 30% off if you buy it as a standalone unit. It's $163 as a standalone job, but you can also get it with this little torch here, which is called an i3T. Now, it's a conventional torch. It's not rechargeable like these. The magnetic recharging thing, which comes with the torch, just USB on the other end, magnet thing here, you're recharging. This is just a conventional torch with a AAA battery in it, but you get, both of these for under $200 still, and this is the perfect home solution. Like if you've got to get the other half on side, you can buy these as a package for under $200 and you can say, darling, what a perfect handbag torch. Look, I just love you. Here's a little present I just got for you. There you go. There's your handbag torch. And then you just quietly stick this in your bag or on your belt or in your pocket. And when you whip it out and she goes, is that new? You go, no, look at it. I've had this for years. Look at how worn it is. Like, perfect solution for getting this across the line or under the radar. 2 thumbs up, dude. Come on. You can also get it with this other torch here, which is called an i5R. And the cool thing about this is it's rechargeable. And the really cool thing about the recharging is it's in the battery. There's a USB-C port in the battery, and you just plug it in when you need to recharge it. So that's pretty cool as well. This is 350 lumens maximum brightness, 180 for the smaller jobby for the handbag, right? The final thing you can get as a package deal with your Warrior 3S is this cleaver. It's like a folding cleaver that almost comes across like a cutthroat razor, but it's actually a really practical knife for camping because it's great for food preparation around the barbecue, and it is called a Freeze 3 with Damascus steel, okay? OD green scales, and this Damascus is really cool. Now, if you don't know about Damascus, what they do is they get 2 different kinds of knife-making steel and they package them up and then forge weld them together. Like they make them yellow hot, they beat them out, it's got a flux in it, and they join together by virtue of being forge welded, and then they fold it and fold it and fold it. And every time they fold it, they beat it together and forge weld it again. And then you grind it to its final shape and polish it. And the final step is you dip it in some sort of ferric chloride or other solution of that nature, and it etches the steel, and the different steels come out of the woodwork and they're cosmetically on display. Damascus is also really strong, so that's not a bad package as well. You can package it up like this, you can package it up like this, or you can package it up like that. These 2 options, this one and this one, are under $200 right now, and the discounts are huge, like 30% or 35% off for the 2 of them. So that's great. These are slightly more expensive, but still decent purchases as well. There'll be a link in the description to everything that forms part of the sale, and don't forget, it runs out on Wednesday night at midnight. Thanks very much to OLIGHT for sponsoring this report. I have to say that Mitsubishi has done an absolutely top-shelf job photoshopping Outlander plug-in into places in the Outback, into these properly piss-creekian environments where you would have to be a world-class wood duck to actually take one if you spent your own money on it. This is the kind of thing that this vehicle is simply not good at. But apparently this is quite all right. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's have another look at that. I hope you can see the problem here. Like you can, right? City ready. Okay. Down the bottom. Country ready. okay, but just not too far off the beaten track, if that's okay with you. But rugged ready, they're seriously, some would say strenuously suggesting that this vehicle is, quote, rugged ready. And they're claiming it with a straight face. Like, not only that, they've had 17 meetings in the boardroom with those little triangle sandwiches with the crusts cut off, and they've basically got the court jester and the minister for the death of comedy, and they've handed over a big off brown paper envelope full of 50s, not just to misrepresent the strengths of this vehicle, but to hang an entire communications campaign off what this vehicle is just spectacularly shit at doing. Whether you're just driving down the road or venturing up the guts, the Outlander plug-in hybrid EV is Australia ready. Well, here's a breathtaking image of an Outlander plug-in brilliantly photoshopped into the kind of terrain that I would strongly advise you never to take it to, because it will be spectacularly bad at doing that. Here's another one. No dust. Always a dead giveaway for the Photoshop special. Taking it to a place like this is a crap idea also. I don't actually know where the ACCC's line in the sand is for misleading and deceptive conduct. We'd probably have to ring Toyota and ask, because they do seem to be the absolute specialists at this. However, this next bit seems pretty line ball to me. Get off the beaten track with Mitsubishi's renowned super all-wheel control system. This rally-bred with no hyphen, full-time with a hyphen, four-wheel drive based with no hyphen technology provides 7 drive modes for all kinds of terrains and almost all conditions. For all kinds of terrains. Imagine that. No matter how many varied kinds of terrains you experience, we've got a mode for all of the different terrains. Not to exceed 7 terrains, obviously. But we've basically got all the terrains covered. Don't you worry about that, as long as you limit yourself to 7 terrains maximum. All good. Notwithstanding having all those terrains covered up to 7, we don't have all of the conditions covered, however, so there's that. We've only covered most of those conditions, and we ran out of money before we got to proofreading, pretty obviously. This is a vehicle with soft highway tyres running on 20-inch alloys and no spare tyre at all. No spare, not even a pissy little pizza-cutting space saver. Therefore, taking it anywhere beyond cell phone range is a huge mistake. Here's a problem in a nutshell, okay? These cars that don't have a proper spare tyre or a space saver generally come either with run flats or a tyre repair kit, which is kind of a euphemism for a pissy little compressor and a pissy little can of goo. And this latter option, pissy and pissy, is the way Mitsubishi has gone with the plug-in hybrid Outlander. So if you're around town, right, and you get a nail from some tradie's ute and through the tread face of your tyre and you get a bit of a slow leak and you're not going to get home and the tyre pressure monitoring goes off, you can fix that and you can limp to the tyre shop and they can fix it or replace the tyre, right? So, yay. However, if you're in the Outback and you have a more serious puncture than that pissy little can of goo and pissy little compressor won't fix, such as you drive over a rock roughly this big, only pointy up, and you put a fist-size hole through the tread of your tyre, then that's kind of a problem, right? Or if you're driving along a creek bed in the manner depicted on Mitsubishi's web pages for rugged ready Outlander plug-in, and you happen to get a wooden stake and it drives through the heart of your sidewall on your tyre, like some vampire that it's striving to kill or something, then you're not going to be able to fix that defect with pissy little compressor and pissy little can of goo. And the problem with this, of course, is that you'll be in a remote place where other people are unlikely to be for some time, and that kind of sucks. In a nutshell, it can be tremendously inconvenient and upsetting, best case scenario, or actually life-threatening in a worst case scenario. And this is why, of course, you see all of these Hiluxes and Land Cruisers and Patrols with their big fat rear bars and 2 spare tyres on the back, because that's the default recommendation for actual rugged ready travel. 2 spare tyres, 2 full-size ones, because often in remote places, 1 full-size spare is not enough. And I have to say, if 1 full-size spare is not enough, then none really is ridiculous in the context of that kind of travel. And if that happens to you, then you could be there for some time, couldn't you? Still, I suppose if you are waiting, you could always just, I don't know, boil the jug. If you don't have time to wait for the billy to boil, you can use an electric kettle instead. But you are going to have time, aren't you? Because you'll be broken down with no freaking spare tyre, and therefore you'll be waiting for some random vehicle to just drive by over the next several days, and you are going to hope against hope that they're not carrying too many banjos. You're going to have all the time in the world, dude. Don't worry about it. It is nice to have a vehicle with a couple of power points on board. However, the total power output capacity of the 240-volt inverter system on that vehicle is 1,500 watts. And inconveniently, the vast majority of electric kettles in this country draw 2,000 watts or more. So that's ever so slightly incompatible, isn't it? Some would say fucked up, unkindly. On the balance of probability, if you just grab Yo Jug from the kitchen and head to the Outback in Yo Rugged Ready Mobile, atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed, roger, ready to move out. The only thing that jug is going to warm up is the inverter. And by warm up, I mean overcook, clearly. This is just another classic case of highlighting a thing that the car is going to be shit at. To wit, boiling the jug. Properly shit at boiling the vast majority of jugs. But hey, it's okay at running a bunch of LED lights and a fridge all night long. You can charge up your laptop and the kids' tablets and pump out some fat beats to disturb others camping nearby, etc. The jug you use every day at home? Not so much. With an Outlander plug-in hybrid EV, you can drive to the back of Burke and beyond. Just plug in, fill her up and head off the grid. For fuck's sake, it's Burke with an O. You dicks. How out of touch with Dingo Piss Creek can a person be? Burke with no O is a tragic, dead, heroic ratbag explorer. B-O-U-R-K-E Burke is a place you can drive out the anus of on the road to Dingo Piss Creek. Just follow the caravans and their room temperature IQ drivers. Actually, don't do that, dude. It's a properly shit idea to be in any place like that, in an Outlander plug-in. This vehicle is not compatible with Outback travel. One puncture and you are going to be rooted, dude. Hashtag not fun. You've had fun. This is not that. I just looked on their website, actually. There's no spare tyre solution even in the frickin' accessory catalogue. Plenty of, quote, garnish for the front and the side and the back. You can even buy PHEV body side decals. Who doesn't want that? Me, sir. For $462. I'm not sure if that's for a pair or each, but no spare tyre. Mitsubishi actually has 2 vehicles in its range which really are, quote, rugged ready, and that would be the Triton 4x4 Ute, and obviously its wagonified half-sister, the Pajero Sport. I even own a Triton, and it's been a great vehicle. I'm quite happy with it. I am a very satisfied customer. I have no personal axe to grind here, except that I don't want to see you shoot yourself down there in the vegetables by believing this bullshit marketing wank and waking up near the rectum of Burke with an O totally stranded with the sun setting and the banjos approaching on all sides in your rugged ready Outlander plug-in. That would be a suboptimal outcome for you, dude. Misrepresenting the Outlander plug-in in this way, coit jest a seal of approval or not, does not only do potential owners a great disservice, but also the vehicle itself. Like, come on. In my estimation, it is remarkably technically competent, that car. It's a winner. So instead of dressing its weaknesses up as strengths, fraudulently enough, they could have just concentrated on its actual friggin' strengths. This vehicle is one of the best plug-in hybrids you can own. And this is mainly because it has a sufficient battery. Like, it's got big enough battery capacity to do a lot of running in EV mode, like daily commuting type running. It's got a 20 kilowatt hour battery. That's about 1/3 of the battery capacity of a roughly equivalent EV. Like, this is a big battery for a plug-in, and packaging that into the vehicle is one of the reasons why there's no frickin' spare tyre. It's a compromise. The Kia Sorento plug-in hybrid has about 1/3 less battery capacity, but it comes with a full-sized alloy spare wheel and tyre. And to be fair, I wouldn't be belting it into Dingo Piss Creek either, but the Sorento has better remote area mobility any way you look at it. Plug-in hybrids aren't designed for that. They're designed for people who live in cities and who do occasional longer distance regional travel on well-maintained highways, not far up the date of the actual busted-ass Outback. The Outlander plug-in is going to take you 84-ish kilometres, notionally, in EV mode, and then if you decide to drive a properly long way, like several hundred kilometres, Sydney to Canberra, say, or Melbourne to Albury, or even Adelaide to civilization, you can do this without the kind of special ops planning it takes to drive long distances in a full battery EV. And even when you do that planning, you're going to be shit scared the whole time that the one critical charger that you need to get home is going to go poopy in its trousers like 5 minutes before you get there. Regional commutes are quite okay in a plug-in. Like, if you kill a tyre, you can just call roadside assistance because generally you're not that far in the boonies. Just explain the problem up front, and yeah, it's going to be inconvenient, but it's not a flat-out disaster. And the risk of this happening is less on a decent regional highway because the roads are in better condition. Taking such a vehicle into the Outback is ludicrous. The Outlander plug-in spare tyre setup, i.e. none, is a dice that I would absolutely roll on the Hume or Pacific highways, like no problem. But not if I was planning a drive on all of the kinds of terrains and some of the conditions once you're out the anus of Burke with an O. You've got to be kidding, dude. Like, come on. The biggest question, just gagging for an answer here, who the actual fuck aspires to dropping $75,000 on a garnished up Outlander with those beautiful $500 PHEV decals on the side, and then thrash it up some dodgy creek bed in the Outback such as this? I suspect the answer to who wants to do that is a giant flame-grilled nobody burger. Depicting the vehicle in this way misses the whole point on so many different fronts. And it's not even a near miss. The Outlander plug-in is a spectacularly capable vehicle. In many respects, it blows a standalone battery EV out of the water, especially when you consider the third world state of Australian regional EV charging infrastructure. This vehicle has distinct strengths, right? And what a pity Mitsubishi treats these strengths like they're some sort of state secret. This quite all right bullshit is spectacularly misrepresentative nonsense. Unless, of course, it's meant to be a parody of the vehicle's true strengths, in which case, I take it all back, dudes. Well done. That is hilarious.